Hey guys, it's Marta. Welcome to my almost full garden. Today I wanted to share what's happening in the garden and share what jobs I'm planning for September. Let me know how was the end of summer in your gardens. Did you have a dry year or maybe it was very wet as in my garden? We've had such huge rainstorms. The amount of rain was really huge and the garden is almost soaked up like a sponge. So for me that was too much. For my plants, definitely too much. I think I will lose some because of too much water. So I'm really interested how was the end of summer at your place. On a positive note, Descampsia cepitosa, my grass, is looking absolutely amazing. Considering the fact that we had a huge rainstorm yesterday, which my husband Michael asked, what is this? Is this hail? Because there was such loud noise when the rain started coming down. And look, they are all standing upright. None of them has bent under this huge rain. And we had the same experiences last year when there were snowstorms. They were standing upright. So this is one of the plants I will definitely recommend to you to plant in your garden. As you can see, the coneflowers are looking beautiful, so do the grasses. We have Cesleria, we have Stipa, and of course more and more coneflowers. Also, I'm very happy with my Russian sedge. It is a plant that needs some time to establish, but they are growing bigger and bigger every year, and this year you could see them. So I'm really happy with the growth. Also, Verbena bonariensis is also looking perfect. Perfect! Green we can also see from the weeds, from the grasses. This is a space that is outside of the garden. On the other side of the road there is a lot of grass that has the seeds, so we'll always have this. So this is one of the jobs I will need to be doing, weeding this part and also the border. But this border has only bark on it. It does not have any landscape fabric or even any cardboard. Only bark was laid, like a thick layer, a few centimeters. And we've been weeding it only twice this year. So I'm really happy with the amount of work that was put into this border. It is growing really nicely. This is a really nice idea for my future gardens, how I want them to look like, because this is a border that does not need as much work as the other borders that I have inside in my garden. So what this border needs is a lot of weeding, and I will be also adding some natural fertilizers like bone meal and maybe some basalt meal. That is really good for this border. I do not want to use too much fertilizers, only natural stuff, and it is working pretty good because none of the plants are, too tall. They are not growing too big. I want them to be compact and not be like, growing everywhere, all around. Okay, now let's go. I'll show you something really interesting. Hydrangeas, paniculatas have changed their colors. I really love that because at the beginning they are all white and then each variety is changing the color and it's looking differently. Those hydrangeas have a lot of pistachios and pinks, so they are almost like vintage-like, which I really love. But other varieties can be more pink, even almost red. So it's always nice to see them change. It is a beautiful moment. This year was very interesting for hydrangeas. On one hand, we had a lot of rain, so they were very happy. As you can see, they have a lot of flowers, which is wonderful. But then we had a lot of huge rains. And when you have such huge amounts of flowers and they all take up all that water like sponges, the flowers tend to flop. So my job the last month and this month also is trying to hold them together, to shake the excess rain and to make them look presentable in the garden, because we have some that really flopped, and no matter what I do, I try to take them up and then they flop again. So that is a nice job to be doing in September too. if you were thinking about drying your hydrangeas, September is the best time you can do it. We take one flower, we take all of the leaves, we strip them because they will take up all of the moisture and we don't want that. Then we put one stem with a flower into our container and we give it just a few centimeters of water or an inch of water, and we leave them like that in a place that does not have direct sunlight. They will dry the best the moment they change the color, because when we take those beautiful white flowers earlier in the season, they will not dry as well. But in this stage, this is the perfect time. They will stay up with you even for a few years. I have had some for even 3 years. I should throw them out because of the dust, not of the lack of color. They still look beautiful. And in the midst of winter, you will not need to buy fake flowers. You will use the ones from your own garden. This is my tallest Annabelle, who always wants to lean on me. And I will need to think of even better way to stake her next year. I've been doing a lot, but the last rains really, it looks like something dropped in the middle of it. So I will take some of the flowers, I will dry them, but this one I will prune in probably October, even maybe the end of September. The others are looking perfect, and I will leave some of them for the winter because it looks really nice, especially when we have the snow, and they will get a lot of like powder sugar on top with the snow. It looks really pretty. Now let's go and see some annuals, and let's talk what we can do with them in September. I always wonder in September, do I take out all my annuals and do I make the decorations more fall-like, or do I stay and give myself a little bit of summer feeling with them? So over the years, I decided that when it becomes cold and it feels more like autumn, then I will do it. And if it feels like summer, I will stay with my annuals. And if my annuals look good, I will not take them out. So this year, they are looking pretty well. We are still having hot days, so I'm staying with them. And I think they still look pretty good, don't you think? So if you're like me, we can still take care of our annuals like Superunias. I will fertilize them. I think that the end of August and the beginning of September are the months that they need it most. They've been performing for us since May, and now giving them a good dose of fertilizer, like the liquid one, is a perfect thing. Then you can clean them a bit, you can prune them a bit, and they will perform for you even until frosts come. And from my experience, I can tell that sometimes even light frost will not kill them. They will still perform afterwards. As we are talking about annuals, let's go and see how the wall of Superunia is looking like in September. We've had a huge rain yesterday and today, which it just stopped an hour ago. So everything is covered with leaves and with bird seeds, and some of the Superunias are also a bit bothered with the rain. But we've had such great results with this wall. I think it was the best year of all of them, and I've been growing this wall of Superunias for several years now. First Surfinias, then Superunias. But I have not cleaned it in a month. It is on drip, and I've been fertilizing it only, I think, 3 to maybe 4 times this year. So I'm really happy with the constant impact of flowers that it gives us, because it starts in the middle of May and it lasts even until October, depending on the year. But this year it has been really healthy. We did not have problems with any bugs. This is always at the end of the season is the biggest issue. Now I will just clean it this week and I will fertilize it, and we'll see how long it will go for us and when it will end. Now let's see a border that used to be super dry. I widened it and it changed a bit in the spring, and let's see how it looks like now. So this is the border. Last year the hydrangeas looked terrible. The flowers were shriveled, small, and it really struggled, the whole border. So I made a few improvements in spring. I moved some of the plants closer. I took some of the lawn and I moved them closer so they get more light. They are further from the root systems of tuyas and birch trees, and I think they loved it. Plus we really had a really wet year. You can see it when you look at my lawn. You can see it all around. There was a lot of water, and you can see that hydrangeas perform so much better when they get the amount of water they really need. I paired my hydrangeas with annual lemon ball sedum. I love this plant. I bought tiny plugs and they grew into really huge plants in the ground, but I also grow them in the pots. I really love this plant, beautiful color. The other plants I tried was Cesleria autumnalis. This plant grows really nicely here. It even flowered, but it is a semi-shade. So if you grow Cesleria in semi-shade, you might see that it will not be as lime green as it is in my front border. It will be darker green, but I was fine with that. I really wanted to try some of those plants and see what works, and maybe then I will use more of them. I always try those little experiments if I see what really catches my eye. I get a lot of questions about fertilizing. Do we fertilize in autumn? Yes, but with very specific fertilizers. We are not using typical fertilizers that have a lot of nitrogen because we don't want like huge green growth at the end of the season. We want our plants to be nicely prepared for the winter. That's why we are using autumn fertilizers. They are very specific. They will have more phosphorus and potassium, and they will help our plants, for example, be ready earlier, so the wooden structures will become more wooden before the winter. That's why I always look at the plants that struggled during the season and I fertilize them first, and then I will use, for example, for my lawn, I will use the fertilizer in a month because it was fertilized in August. As you can see, it is still lush and green, but at the end of September, beginning of October, I will use the fertilizer for the lawn. It is called fall fertilizer. So it will not have that much nitrogen, it will have more potassium and phosphorus, and it will help our lawn also prepare for the winter. Now let's go and see some roses. The second bloom has begun just a few days ago. They are almost all blooming. A lot of people say that roses are difficult plants. I do not believe this. I wrote a whole book about roses and I was trying to convince people that they are really easy plants to grow if you choose the right ones. They are plants that will go through drought very well. They will bloom for you through the whole season. They start in June, then you have a moment of a break, and then they will bloom for you until the frosts come. So they are perfect plants if you know which ones to choose. The only thing is you have to prune them and then you have to deadhead them. This is the job to be done. If you do not like it, don't buy roses. But if you're willing to do that, you will have color and scent for the almost whole season. The rose you see behind me is called Blue Wunder. This is a rose I wrote so much about in my book because it is a rose that does not care what people say about roses, because I was talking about principles, what is the best for the roses, but this rose does not care. It grows in the gravel, it is not fertilized too much. However I prune them, she blooms like, you know, there's no tomorrow. A beautiful example of why we think about roses in terms of strength, and this is a rose I would definitely recommend for anyone who is starting with roses. Blue Wunder. So a lot of roses are blooming, but they are totally bent down. It was raining the whole day yesterday and it was raining today until it just stopped like an hour ago. We went out to film for you, but all of the roses are fully soaked in water. Now I will check if some of them mummify. That means that when it's raining, they are becoming like mummies. So I take those out. And if I see any like stems that will grow somewhere I don't want them to grow, I will prune them now even harder, because now is the good time. You don't want to do it in October because it will stimulate the growth and we want them to prepare for winter. Between my roses, I found an Orlea. Orlea is hardy annual, one of my favorite annuals. The seeds are perfect. They are dark brown and they are ready to be sown. Why do I want to sow my Orlea now if it's an annual? The hardy annuals that are sown in September are the best annuals. You will have the biggest flowers and you will have them earlier. So now is a perfect time to sow them, and I sow them directly into the ground. September is a time when you will see a lot of ads online, ads from companies selling bareroot roses or other bareroot plants, and then companies selling bulbs. And sometimes we can think this is too early, but if you're having a specific variety on your mind, you're dreaming of some type of rose or some kind of bulbs, it's good to see earlier, because then the most sought varieties are being sold earlier, and then you are left with regret that you cannot get it. So if you're searching for something, go online, search, order, and then we will be planting them in October, even later. But it's good to, reserve. What is mine, 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 mine? I want those. I'm still not sure if I'll be having a lot of tulips next year or not. We'll see. I always say that not, and then I am buying more and more bulbs and planting them through November and December. So we'll see how it goes. But I am definitely eyeing a rose I found in Germany. We were there a week ago, and it was a beautiful rose. It looked like Bobby James, but it bloomed now. So it was a week ago, so in August, and it looked beautiful. Those two roses stood up in the whole rose garden, and they really caught my eyes. And one of my followers wrote me that possibly this is this type of a rose. So we'll see. I will order that, what she wrote to me, and we'll see. I will test it and let you know if it was really, really good. Let me know what jobs are you doing in your gardens in September. Do you still feel like it's summer, or you're more into the fall vibe? Are you like, I want pumpkins and all of those fall decorations, or you are willing to still feel like it's summer? Let me know in the comments. If you like today's video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.